Man, this week just does not stop. After some awesome Halo Infinite stuff, and more to come, we saw an awesome celebration of Halo's 20th anniversary kick off today with MCC's latest update. In the weeks and months to come, each week we'll see new accessories or sets of gear for MCC, all of it themed around not only Halo's 20th anniversary, but Xbox's as well. And among these items are two iconic sets of Halo armor, but we'll talk about those just a little later. First, let's talk about the overall picture here. As I said, starting today, each week will bring with it new gear for MCC, armors for Halo 3, and surprisingly, Halo 2 Anniversary, plus a ton of new back accessories for Halo 3 and new Halo 3 weapon skins. But you did hear me right, Halo 2 Anniversary is finally getting a new set of armor, and it's available in MCC now for a total of 10 season points. Next week, this armor will be swapped out for some shoulder pieces and a back accessory, and so on and so forth. After everything has been cycled through once, it will be a continuous part of the exchange's ever-rotating unlockables list, with the new Orion armor reappearing the week of January 5th, and the other items to follow in order afterwards, at least as far as we've been told. These new accessories look awesome, but as I'm sure you all know, there are two items in particular that stood out here. Items fans have been obsessing over for years. And luckily, a new issue of Canon Fodder accompanied this update to give us those juicy details. Naturally, let's start with the armor that's been made available for the next week, the armor that started it all, a recreation of the Macworld 1999 armor. This armor set was the first look the public had at Halo, and it left an impact on a lot of people. Fans have been in love with the idea of seeing this armor reappear at some point, with the fan game Installation 01 even remaking the armor for their game. The armor also made a non-canon appearance in the Halo graphic novel story Second Sunrise over New Mombasa. Now, however, we have an official version, one which has found a surprising though fitting home within the canon. This classic armor has been dubbed Orion for its appearance in the games, which will likely give the more lore-savvy among you an idea of how 343 made this fit in. Before the Spartan 2s, there was the Orion Project, the original Super Soldier program. The Spartan 2 program was actually originally going to be called Orion 2 until Halsey changed it to Spartan. Orion had a brief run in the 24th century, but only really took off with its next generation program in 2491, known as the Orion Project. Collecting adult volunteers from across the UNSC service branches, the Office of Naval Intelligence and Colonial Military Administration aimed to create enhanced soldiers to better counter the growing insurrection at the time. Orion had a number of successes, but far too many shortcomings. The program was eventually shut down in 2506, and its surviving members reintegrated into the UNSC. Several members experienced debilitating side effects, though others would lead long military careers as a result of their augmentations. Sergeant Avery Johnson was one such candidate. However, just like the Spartan 2 program, the Orion Project wasn't simply about biological augmentation. Research spanned several disciplines and included studies into armor, weapons, software interfaces, and even training techniques. The ODSTs as we know them were born from advances made during the Orion Project. Still, most ideas never made it past the early stages. To quote the Orion helmet description, Project Orion had ambitious plans for completing super soldier weapon systems, but only Dr. Halsey had the vision and genius to bring both hardware and wetware to fruition. So, in essence, Orion armor is what might have been. Parts of its design did see field work and limited success, but a completed set of powered assault armor never made it into the field. However, these early designs were not fruitless. Orion hardware development studies provided useful data for ensuring both range of motion and high levels of protection on later Mjolnir designs. The Orion Vambraces did actually see some limited action being field tested during Operation Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope wasn't a single mission, but a series of assassinations targeting key insurrectionist leaders just after the turn of the 26th century. Sergeant Johnson was among those who participated, though whether he was ever issued any Orion armor components is unknown. The Greaves 2 advanced beyond concepting, being rigorously tested by Candidate 029 on the Red Plains of Mars. Whether they saw actual field use remains unknown. Candidate 029 hasn't been mentioned in prior lore, incidentally. Although, Spartans training on or over Mars isn't all that new, as Lee 008 would train at the Chiron facility over Mars. The torso may end up being the most mysterious part of the armor, as its description only gives us a rundown of its hardware and no mention of whether it saw any field use. The description reads, "High-grade torso shell with prototype fitting for integrated Shoulder Angel micro-missile/decoy launcher." Whether this was fielded or not, it seems the Shoulder Angel just didn't make the cut in Halsey's eyes. Next up, we have a real treat for Spartan 3 fans, something a lot of people have wanted in the games since it first premiered in 2006, Semi-Powered Infiltration, or SPI, armor. Grim does confirm the pronunciation to be SPI, by the way, so oh well. The original SPI armor was a cost-saving measure for the Spartan 3 program. The single biggest cost of the Spartan 2 program was Mjolnir, not just its research and development, but its ongoing maintenance. While certain technological advances cut the cost of augmentation, the same could not be said for Mjolnir, not in 2531 when the Spartan 3 program was initiated. Instead, the Office of Naval Intelligence and Program Lead Colonel James Ackerson took a different route. SPI armor would sacrifice much of the strength and speed enhancement provided by Mjolnir, along with general protection. To compensate, spy armor was equipped with photoreactive panels that can mimic the wearer's surroundings, effectively cloaking them. SPI armor would make notable advances as time went on, some prototypes even being fitted with experimental energy shields. After the Human Covenant War, SPI would be yet another armor class brought up to newer Mjolnir specifications to be worn by Spartans of any generation. In particular, what we have here is what is generally thought of as default SPI armor, though its official designation is Mirage class armor. A direct evolution of the semi-powered Infiltration armor suite, Mirage armor incorporates the latest in software-definable deception jammers. Lightweight but resilient, the Mirage exoskeleton is not as robust as mainline Mjolnir suits, while still maintaining basic performance metrics at a fraction of the price. In other words, even upgraded to Mjolnir standards, SPI armor remains a lighter armor set that is best suited to stealth. SPI's gauntlets are a further refinement of the Rift-class force amplification gauntlets of classic SPI armor. Overall, this armor set is great and one I'm happy to finally have in Halo. Compared to established art, there are some obvious differences, a result of the original armor not exactly being designed for a game, let alone to work on a Mjolnir tech suit. Still, I think 343 did a great job bringing this to life. Hopefully it won't be the last time we see SPI armor in the games, if you catch my drift. With that though, we can wrap up this video. It's damn cool to see Orion and SPI armors in the Halo games, and the way 343 decided to work Orion into the canon is absolutely perfect, and I mean perfect. I can't say I'm disappointed by the other accessories that are coming too. I'm ready to rock that big ol' Xbox on my back with a couple of Dukes on my shoulders, and I'm sure many of you are as well. So let me know about it in the comments below. Are you as excited about these armors as I am? What do you think of these accessories and what items caught your eye? Thank you for watching as always, stick around for the Patreon shoutout, and until next time, this has been Halo Canon. First, I'd like to give a big thank you to our Horospus patrons. First, there's Hope, then we have Freight, Discombobulated Sycophant, Justin Montgomery, Man in the Dark, Keisha Dila, Daddy Anarchy, Great Scott Productions, Jumpy Sucks Balls, and Lone Ronin 117. Thank you all for your amazing support of the channel. Next, I'd like to thank our theoretical patrons. If you'd like to see your name here or get a direct shout out, check out patreon.com/halocanon. You can simply support the channel or get additional benefits such as behind the scenes materials, including raw audio for upcoming videos, or even shoutouts like this. All patrons now get early access to certain videos as well, and more benefits are to come. However, your continued viewership is more than enough for me. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and maybe even subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. If you really enjoy this, turn on that notification bell so you can be among the first to see new videos when they release. But for all my fellow Canonites, keep on being awesome.